Please remember to check out our other videos and to click on the subscribe button and tap on the bell icon so you get notifications each time we upload another video. This video is made in association with Just EVs, who specialise in hard-to-source electric vehicles and have large, immediately available stock for contactless delivery. The 2020 Honda E has been much anticipated, and I can see why. Its looks are a complete change to the norm and resemble a kickback to the Mark I VW Golf. Everywhere I've driven it's turned heads, in fact more heads than when I rolled through Leicester in a Renault Twizy. I wouldn't personally say this is the best looking EV out there, but if you're after attention, this should definitely be number one on your list. It blends retro styling with the very latest in modern vehicle tech, and is one of a few cars to incorporate HD rear-facing cameras for your side view mirrors, which from the outside look rather streamlined and clean. Rear-wheel drive and the loss of the front CV joints combined with a short wheelbase mean the Honda will outturn a London taxi by half a foot, so agility is really on your side. Charging, where you'd expect that to be funky, and it is. A 2-second press on the key opens up a 49 kilowatt DC rapid port for rapid charging and a Type 2 port for home charging. The pulsating purple charge bar keeps you up to speed from a distance, and it will take just over 7 kilowatts and take a whisker over 4 hours from 0 to 100%. When you approach the Honda, you're welcomed by the auto-presenting door handles, and when you hop in, it automatically switches on the ignition for you. There's plenty of room for me at 5'6" and for James at 5'10", but more surprisingly was the rear headroom. Bolt upright, there was no contact with the roof lining and the legroom plentiful, as you can see here. The reach and rake adjustment is manual, but didn't impede me in any position, and the dash is, well, a mix. The lower half looks like it's taken from a Mark III Ford Granada, keeping it retro, but lift your eyes and suddenly you're sat in a 20-year-old's home YouTube setup with more screens than you can look at. Climate controlled and heated seats are standard, but look down and you have an array of new connections that ordinarily live in your house. Apparently, plugging your lawnmower or toaster in is actually possible alongside your mobile phone. Come back further still, and the gear selection is a series of buttons that after 5 minutes I could operate without needing to glance down to double check I wasn't accidentally trying to select reverse. And back further still, you have a drive mode selector, auto handbrake and brake hold selectors. The Honda is a compact segment EV, meaning dimensions are on the smaller side, so you won't be surprised by the boot. You are supplied with both charging cables from new and have an underfloor storage, which you will need, as the boot is only 171 litres. But if you lower the solid rear bench, that number increases over 400% to 857 litres. For real-world perspective, we could just squeeze our folded Xiaomi electric scooter inside. We love cup holders, and the Honda does well. A retractable unit here will hold one. Both driver and passenger doors will hold one each, but not much else. Rear seat passengers get one each, and there are 3 adjustable slots between the front seats, and the glove box will likely take another 2 good-sized bottles. So far, the Honda is looking pretty good, but there were a few areas I did notice that in my opinion weren't the best. Areas of the rear bumper and lower trim and other areas seemed very flimsy to touch, and if you close the doors with the windows down, you're greeted with a very rattly window. Hello and welcome to another episode, and welcome to the Honda E.
So we've had this for the weekend. It's been about a 3-day sort of exercise, and it's going back today. And I think we're a bit of a mixed bag, aren't we? I personally love the tech and everything that's inside. The amount of tech and what you can do with it. It's got a 230 volt socket down here, 3-pin for running all sorts of household goods if need be. You've got a HDMI port so you can plug your PlayStations in and stream other things onto the screens if you want to. So that's all great. I'm really sort of on board with that. But there's been a couple of downsides to it as well, hasn't there?
Yes.
So where do you want to start?
You mentioned the tech, so let's go from there. I think personally for me, there's just too much going on in the front of this car. In front of me, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 screens? 6 screens.
different screens, all showing different bits of information. So I've got the wing mirror, which is a camera. I've got the rear view mirror, which is also a camera. Come back to that in a minute. And then the whole of the dash is 3 separate screens. And it's just too much. I almost feel like I'm having to look over it to see out of the window.
That doesn't affect me too much because I've got a long back and neck, which I seem to mention every episode. But I agree with the fact there is too much going on. I mean, normally I get into a car and within 10 minutes I've kind of navigated my way around the screens. 3 days and I'm looking at this and I'm still a bit, oh my God, where is everything? It is a little bit too much, but maybe that's just because we're getting on a little bit and
For yourself.
the younger generation will just come along and navigate this with no issues at all.
Yes, perhaps. Personally, I just find it a distraction. I mean, I find if there's too much going on, it's a bit of a distraction, that's all.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? If you get something like a Leaf, which I think the tech inside that is awful, it's like one end of the scale, sat nav from the 70s, and then you get a Tesla, which I thought was at the forefront. This has just overtook it, and just, yeah, I agree with you. I love the tech, but I think there is too much.
The bonus of the tech is one of the things that is included is this camera on the rear view mirror. And initially I was a bit like, oh, is that really necessary? Do we really need a camera there? And I tried it with James sat in the back and Florence in her car seat, and actually it's really good because when you've got the standard mirror on, if you look through the back screen, you're looking through James's head and Florence's car seat, and the gap is very, very narrow, so your rear view mirror doesn't really give a very good view.
No.
Whereas the camera's brilliant.
So yeah.
I agree. So yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, so I wasn't sold on that at first, but I'm sold on it now. And if you don't like it, you could simply flick that and it goes off. Which brings me on to something else. Again, this area here to here. So in certain situations, as with the Nissan Leaf, there's times when you're doing this and you've got to look under all this and look through this area here, and it's just a little bit impeded.
Yeah.
But I suppose that comes down to the fact that it's a very small car, so you can almost let it go, almost because it's a compact sector car. So it's you've got to sort of give it a bit of a break. They've got to squeeze everything into a smaller area.
I think without all this stuff, though, you could have it.
Yeah, no, I
bigger
agree.
area.
I agree.
There's a nice little feature on the end of the stalk on the right-hand side of the steering wheel, which brings your cameras on if you're driving under a set speed, which I think is 15 miles an hour.
Oh, the bird's eye view one.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's really good. I've used that actually quite a lot, and it's it is really good.
It's
really
useful.
Good. Yeah.
While we're on cameras, the reversing camera is just fantastic.
Yes.
It's really, really good. It actually shows you a path of where the car is going to go.
Okay.
Which for me is really useful, find it really useful. But the park assist.
We tried it, and it just didn't seem to do anything that was even remotely like it was going to park the car. We pulled out of a space and then tried to use the park assist to get back in it, and it said no. We then gave it another huge option to park, which was about 5 cars long. Didn't see it.
Just drove past it.
Yeah, we just got rid of that. It's one of them features that you're probably never going to use.
No.
All honesty.
We've had it on a couple of cars that we've had
and
have got, and we've never used it unless it's just to check, just to see if it works. On
to price. Now this one, a lot of people have not been particularly happy about this, and I've got to say I'm with them. I took this to a show yesterday, and it got a lot of attention, a lot of people looking at it, real mixed bag. But then when it came to price, everybody was saying it's ridiculous. It's completely overpriced. Honda only advertise this as a city car, so for that purpose, it's perfect. That's more than enough range, I think. But I do feel a little bit like it is slightly under what I would want.
For that price.
Yeah, I'd want 50 kilowatt hours in this.
Yeah. I also think we were talking about how this car looks and kind of like how it feels.
Yeah.
And it's going to attract a younger market because of the way it looks.
Definitely,
It's got a little bit of a look of a souped-up boy racer car to it. A little bit. It looks a little bit like somebody's bought it and added extra bits to it.
Yeah.
But not in a more kind of professional and expensive way.
Yes.
So I think the market it could appeal to is going to be the younger market.
On to range, and the range of this is it's 105 miles. That's it. It's really not going to do any more than that on the motorway, and you will get more than that round town. So, as they say, it's a town car. They advertise it as a town car, but I still come back to that at £33,000 for a town car.
When you can get a Skoda City Go.
Yeah.
One of the things I really, really, really like about the Honda is that it feels so nice to drive.
Yeah.
The suspension on it is incredible. It's one of the smoothest electric cars that I've driven.
Yeah.
Definitely recently, perhaps if ever.
Did you notice as we drive out of our road, we've got that little bump?
Yes.
The way it soaked that up.
Yes.
Yeah.
It just feels really nice.
Yeah.
And it's not a noisy ride either. I know some other cars that we've driven, Nissan Leaf for one, Zoe, you go over a speed bump or any kind of bump in the road and it's like you're going over a mountain. But this, it really does have a nice feel to it.
Yeah.
It's got a feeling of being quite nippy. I don't know what the 0 to 60 is actually. What is 0 to 60?
9.5
okay,
to
so,
62.
Okay.
Yeah.
Faster than some of the other smaller electric cars we've driven. But it feels faster than that, which I think a lot of electric cars do because of the torque.
Yeah.
But it's got 2 modes, which is quite nice because I think sometimes you get a bit overloaded with modes, and it's just got normal and sport.
Do you think you could concentrate on another mode with having all that?
No, I'm completely moded out. But it's when you put it into sport mode, there's a noticeable difference.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm presuming that will eat the battery.
Yeah, we did a quick 0 to 60 actually on one of our back roads, and it felt good. It felt easily enough.
Yeah,
easily enough.
Easily.
Yeah, we have struggled to work out the regen. There's a button down here which basically it's like an e-pedal on a leaf. You press that, and it puts you full regen. It gives you what you want, and then you can turn it off, which I've just done now. But it's also got here flappy paddles. And it allows you to increase the regen, and then you can decrease it in the other side. But then you'll increase it, and then it turns off on its own a few seconds later. For me, that's just too complex.
Yeah.
It needs to be simplified and made easier for people to use. And this is you, isn't it? This is your thing.
Well, we talked about this in a lot of cars which have adjustable regen, and this one's particularly bad because it turns off when you're driving.
Yes.
At least with all the other ones, you could set it, and you had to reset it every time you got in, which is infuriating.
Yeah.
But with this one, it's even worse because you set it and then you let off and it does nothing.
Somebody might be able to put us straight on that and say, no, you're doing it wrong, and that's fine. We might be, but it only emphasises the fact that it's just not that intuitive and that easy to use. Normally, we get in a car, regen, bang, done, and that's it. And
regen or no regen, just regen. Anyway.
Simple.
I went back on. The other thing I'll also mention is the seats, which everybody knows I've got a thing about. But in combination with the wonderful suspension that gives this lovely cushioned ride, the seats are just really, really comfortable, really supportive, fabric, nice and warm. I could almost have a little sleep.
Okay, so that's good then. Yeah, I've noticed that. However, push your head back in the headrest. And, oh no, I'll take that back.
What were you going to say?
I was going to say you can feel the frame of the headrest, but you can't. It's actually the support of the headrest.
You can't.
So
nice.
I stand corrected.
It's one of the most comfortable seats I've sat in, actually.
Yeah.
For a long time.
I think it's fair to say that they've concentrated on the seating and making sure that the passengers are comfortable. So that's nice.
Yes.
So it's like easy, isn't it? It's easy to just get on with. But I still keep coming back to that. It's just that needs to be easier.
Yeah.
It does. It needs to be more simple.
I'm getting used to it more and more, but I almost can't be bothered to work it out because there's too much.
Yeah.
I got in, first time I got in, I was like, why are there 2 screens and there's 2 sets of buttons, and the set of buttons over on James's side are so far away that if I wanted to press them, I'd be putting myself in at risk because I'd be not concentrating on the road. I mean, are they separate for different things, or are they?
I feel a little bit like this is for the passenger. Well, it must be because it's right in front of me, and that's not for you to touch, but it is sort of like the Bluetooth, the Honda App Center, Wi-Fi hotspot, all that sort of business. It's just...
I just don't understand. Again, someone please explain it to us if there's a sensible reason for it, because it'd be nice to know.
But again, 3 days in, and we're still trying to get our heads
You
around
are right,
it.
maybe we are getting old.
Yeah, possibly.
Both sat here with glasses.
There's some 20-year-olds watching this going, oh my God.
Yeah.
In terms of getting Florence in, what was that like?
Getting Florence into any car at the moment now is easier because
Yeah.
she's bigger, but it wasn't the easiest. Out of all the cars we've put her into the back of, it wasn't the easiest.
Okay.
It was fine.
Yeah.
Can't fit a buggy in though. We haven't even tried
No.
to film that because, well, you'll see the boot space. You could fit a small suitcase.
Yeah. A very small suitcase of a certain shape. It's not designed for lugging stuff around. However, if you put the back seats down,
Yeah.
you've got quite a usable space there.
When I first saw the Honda 8, I thought, that is really cool. I'm really going to like this car.
Yeah.
It looks funky.
Yeah.
There's something different about it. It's really futuristic. I love the charge port. Stuff like that.
A lot of people don't.
Oh, I think it's wicked.
Yeah.
But then over the last few days, for some reason, I've gradually gone off it. I don't know why. I can't put my finger on it. And over the last few days, I've started to look at it from different angles and thought, is it too quirky? I think it might date quite quickly. It looks a little bit soulless.
So, with that then, would you buy one?
No, sorry.
It's got some really good features about it with like the tech and the things. It's rear-wheel drive as well, so you get to have a little bit of fun in it. I feel that Honda just need to just drag themselves back in again and be competitive, because, you know, I'll just go out and buy a Zoe, or I go out and buy a Leaf or something else. It goes further and it costs less. That's the caveat. This is great and it's a great attraction, but it's not enough for the difference in price.
No.
So
Agreed. Exhausted it. I think we definitely have. The consensus is I probably wouldn't have one unless it was half the price. And how do you feel?
do you know what? I'm going to go exactly with what you just said. If it was half the price, I would consider it. But I'm sorry. As great as the car is, it's just it's priced out of the market, I think.
Yeah.
So.
But thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe and follow us on Twitter @KatePhantom, and we'll see you again soon with another episode.